I'll just give some thoughts, and then I have some questions for the author. I had the privilege of working for a CPA firm for 18 years. In my first career was a partner. So I was a CPA and also a certified financial planner, and did a lot of income tax planning, did a lot of estate tax planning, and did a lot of charitable gift planning, did a lot of charitable remainder unit trusts, and had a lot of fun in that first career. So I'm sitting here and I'm kind of reacting as some of the others that I wouldn't call some of these three items loopholes. But I'm also really concerned about nonconformity. It really is a difficult thing when you have state law that differs dramatically from federal law, and it just creates some unique preparation issues, especially for the Franchise Tax Board. I mean, they got to figure out how some of this stuff is missing, even how to find it or audit it. But it was one statistic was already given. But if the top 1% are contributing almost a third of the state's total revenues, this is just not one group you really want to upset, because it has such a major bearing on our total revenues. And I'm also concerned about the amount of compensation being paid by California corporations to their executives. It doesn't take much to move a corporate headquarters and to relocate to another state. Airbnb, we had a lot of fun with that, and what their four owners live in San Francisco, but their employees live in Portland. And so I don't want to lose those four people when they do sell their shares, because we want the capital gains and we want those in California. So I'm nervous about the rule of unintended consequences, because the wealthy are so mobile. They could leave in a snap. This is an easy thing for them to do, to change their domicile. So I'm also really concerned about eliminating the step up in basis. It's a mind-blowing, for me as an accountant, it's a mind-blowing kind of proposal. A lot of people do wait till they pass away. It's actually an odd strategy, but you kind of wait for, like my folks. Why sell the house now? But now, if you don't transfer the new basis at the date of death, I can't even imagine the unintended consequences of what's going to happen with people moving property or doing things, which I'm really nervous about that. So my questions, Senator Lara, I'm just curious about the $1 million in income. Those are the people that will be impacted by the inability to take the stepped up basis. So is that $1 million in that particular year, or is that $1 million over the last 5 years, or how do you get that threshold?
So it's $1 million a year, and if it's a couple, it's $1 million each of them. So you're talking about the wealthiest of the wealthy,
right?
And I appreciate your concern for them greatly.
So is it for 5 years, 10 years? I mean, how long do they have to have earned the $1 million per year?
I don't know. That's a good question, and we'll look at that.
Okay, because you could manipulate your income. You could hold off selling stock. You could do all kinds of things. So if you time it, if my father died this year, then I will not manipulate or do anything with my portfolio, so I can stay under $1 million in taxable income, so I don't lose the step up in basis. Right? So I'm just, that's what we do. We contrive. We try to figure out how to get around the tax code.
Right, and that's my concern, and I appreciate the concern for the wealthy, and I know they will also figure out another way to be able to shelter their assets. But let me get back to you on that. I see what you're saying, and I don't know. I haven't really thought about that issue, so let me get back to you on that.
Okay, so I prepared tax returns. I'm assuming, I don't know, I haven't asked you, but have you ever prepared tax returns or done any tax work for clients?
No, I'm not an accountant.
Thanks. Too bad.
Okay.
Senator I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Diane.
It's the adjusted gross income of the taxable year of the decedent's death. So the $1 million or $2 million would be
just in the year of death.
Yes, in the year.
Yeah, so I could manipulate. I could do things I could recognize losses. I could do a lot of things to make sure I get below $1 million. That's, I have these problems
Right. I know, and I appreciate your concern for them, but I understand, I didn't think about the manipulation part and how you can actually kind of withhold your assets. So let me further tease that out.
Yeah, I can go to my boss for my company and say, I don't want to be paid this year. I mean, it's really simple. So, yeah, well, not your death, it's the death of your parents, let's say, that you're going to inherit the property from. So my mom and dad are still alive, but if I could talk, if I owned the corporation, I would say, hey, no bonus this year, and I can wait a week and get it the next year. And then I avoid this step up, this losing the step up. So anyway, the last question is, how does this all fit in with what Senator Hertzberg is doing? Is this part of what you're trying to do? Are we going to do this piecemeal, or are we going to do an overall plan? Because I'm having difficulty with this. If this is part of your deal, I'm having trouble with it.
The bill has my name on it, and I've been working on this issue. I'm more than happy to speak with Senator Hertzberg on his efforts and support him in trying to bring some more parity in our tax structure. And so, look forward to working with him on his efforts.
I think it's fair to say, Senator Lara, is that
Intended. I did not mean to say that you were. I just want to know. You answered the question. You have not been collaborating, so.
I feel like I'm in court.
Well,
it's two parallel efforts.
Right, it's two parallel efforts.
okay, well, okay, I think I'm done. But thank you for the bill, and thanks for shaking my world up. This is unbelievable.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Morlock. We'd like to be able to see if there are additional comments. Sure.
Just because I did tax planning. So you're saying, okay, now the interest has to be a minimum of 40% as opposed to 10. Well, there's a lot of reasons why you don't contribute more than the 10. For instance, you are, as well, Diane's here, you are limited on your charitable contributions. So the day you make a major planned giving gift to a university, or to how you set up the trust, or how you do your planning, if your taxable income for the next 5 years is not large enough to absorb the carryover of your contribution deduction, then you're going to lose it permanently. And so that's why we're pretty precise on what we do with our planning and how much we transfer to a university. And if I lose it in 5 years, then I may not want to do it. But if I can do a nice gift every 5 years and work it on in my tax planning, then there's more potential for the UC system or the CSUs that might get major gifts. And I just see unintended consequences, Mr. Chair, on some of these things, because charitable gift planning is so fun, and it is such a great area. So that to start nibbling at it and foreclosing on opportunities, I just can't see how the ramifications would be very detrimental to a lot of our nonprofit community.
Mr. Chair, if I can respond to that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is really fun, the charitable giving, especially for those families that use it to buy yachts, buy homes, and employ their children, and only be forced to spend 10% of that on the actual charity. And so, that's what we're trying to get at as well. I understand that some of our most prestigious universities receive a lot of this money, which is not taxable. And so these are questions that we need to continue to tease out. But, obviously we're trying to get at the folks that utilize these charitable tax to be able to continue to shelter their monies and be able to use it as a slush fund for their children and their family.
So you're just kind of mad at people that have been successful?
Aren't you? Are you mad at people that are using our tax system to be able to shelter?
There's 151,000 families in this state that are holding us up.
I would say the working people of California are holding us up.
They're holding us up. I mean, holding us up in a positive way, not like holding us up with a gun, but they're sustaining this state. And I am so nervous about our tax system and how it operates and how we're so dependent on just a small community. And the last thing I want to do is message that they're not appreciated, that they're just another pocket of people that we can go after to generate revenues for the state. And I think it's dangerous. I think it's dangerous. So I thank you, Mr. Chair.